Today is October 10th, 2017, wrapping up the day in sports. I believe that we will. I believe that we will choke. Yes, that's right. There will be a World Cup next year. It will be in Russia, but no Virginia. There will be no U.S. representation. What a pathetic loss to Trinidad and Tobago. Let me just put it this way. I don't know much about soccer. To tell you the truth, I find soccer to be rather boring, like about 90% of Americans. That's why you've never heard me talk about the MLS. The MLS is like watching paint dry to me. Luckily, I have people helping me with MLS coverage on my website. Stephen Mulvoy, thank you for all the work you've done over the years for me to give my site at least a little bit of a soccer presence. But whenever I try to watch it, I watched the U.S. games, obviously, and I watched some of the World Cup, but I just can never really get into it. Like a whole bunch of Americans. I guess I'm typical that way, but I do know this. All the United States had to do today was beat Trinidad and Tobago. Hell, a tie would have kept their hopes alive. But they lost 2-1. They came out flat. And there was nobody in the crowd. You talk about empty seat nation, there was nobody there. And Trinidad and Tobago, that would be like somebody losing to the Cleveland Browns, needing just a win to make the playoffs in the NFL. That's what losing to Trinidad and Tobago was like today. And they kicked their own goal in there. It just... What network was this on? It wasn't on ESPN, wasn't on Fox Sports. It was on the BN network. The BN network. That's where Gary Bettman wants to move the NHL games to. It's next to the Witness Relocation channel, where they have all the people in Witness Relocation having their broadcasts. Putrid. And for all the talk for soccer's future, I mean, we've got a great women's team. Heck, there's sometimes I think the women could beat the men. I honestly think the women will at least put up a fight against the men. But pathetic. Everyone on the U.S. men's national team should be ashamed of themselves. They're going to blame the coach. They're going to blame Jurgen Klinsmann. They're going to blame Bruce Arena. But then you look in the mirror. You don't lose to Trinidad and Tobago. Baseball today. Raindrops keep falling on my head. And that kept the Nats from becoming dead this year, because we all know that they're not coming back in this series. The Cubs will win in 4. Bryce Harper's going home. So is Daniel Murphy as Jason Worthless strikes out. Raindrops keep falling on their heads. Dusty Baker can't coach in the postseason at all. Washington's going home. Once again, they failed in the playoffs. Can't get past the first round. Just like the Capitals can't get to the conference finals. They're brothers in the city, but they have the same personality. Also on Wednesday we'll see Game 5 between the Yankees and Cleveland Indians. With all of this rain out hockey, soccer, the big story elsewhere was hockey, where there was a handful of games. None more interesting than in Las Vegas, where the Golden Knights, after winning their first 2 games on the road, came home for their first time with a moving ceremony. They had the rescue workers out there, people who helped in the after that devastating sniper incident, the massacre last week at the Bellagio. Was the Bellagio? Well, at the hotel there in Vegas, there in the park, and they walked with players on the ice, and they paid tribute to the victims. And the Golden Knights went out there and won 5-2. You know, this is going to be a live expansion team. They're not going to be pushovers. They're not going to be terrible. The Golden Knights, they got some good players in the draft. James Neal, who scored 2 goals today. Marc-Andre Fleury, 3-time Stanley Cup champion with the Penguins. So they got some good players down in Vegas. Meanwhile, one team who is not doing too good lately so far, the New York Rangers. Henrik Lundqvist has been turned into a pretzel so far this year. And he's letting goals in like Eric Flowers lets linemen past him for the New York Giants. Rangers dropped to 1-3 with a 3-1 loss to the St. Louis Blues, who are off to a 4-0 start. Meanwhile, the Nashville Predators, they played their home opener today after losing in the Stanley Cup Finals, raised their Western Conference Championship banner, and rallied to beat the Philadelphia Flyers 6-5. That's just some reaction on NHL as this season is just underway, just starting. It will really get into full swing as baseball comes to an end. Next week, the NBA starts, so I'm going to be getting my NBA preview ready. I got to get back on track with these NFL updates. It's been a long time since I've done one, and I got 10 teams to do, and then I got to do the NBA, NHL updates. But I'll get to them all eventually. It's going to take me a lot longer than I usually take, but I'm going to do it. Don't worry. I'll have them done. Today's 3 stars are... Today's 3 stars are... What are the 3 stars? Where are my 3 stars at? Today's 3 stars are Philip Forsberg of the Predators, James Neal of the Golden Knights, and Sonny Milano of the Columbus Blue Jackets. We also like to wish a birthday shout-out to Jason Arnott, whose game-winning goal in overtime in the 2000 finals clinched the Devils' 2nd Stanley Cup. And then we take a look back today at NHL expansion at Barstool Sports and Sports Encyclopedia, where sports history lives. Good day.